In the pursuit of a sustainable future, the Philippines emerges as a beacon of innovation, harnessing the power of renewable energy resources. Beyond its natural beauty, this nation holds strategic advantages that position it as an ideal hub for biomass, geothermal, solar, hydro, ocean, and wind energy. The Philippines stands on the threshold of a transformative energy transition, driven by its unique geographic attributes. Abundant sunlight year-round fuels the nation's commitment to sustainable power generation. Surrounded by expansive bodies of water, the Philippines has harnessed the energy potential of wind. Wind turbines dot the landscape, capturing ocean breezes, bolstering a stable supply of clean energy. The abundant water resources of the Philippines form the foundation for hydropower projects, ensuring a consistent and dependable energy supply. Biomass energy emerges as a testament to the Philippines' sustainable practices. Utilizing organic waste and agricultural byproducts, this nation embraces a circular economy approach, transforming waste into energy. Below the surface, geothermal energy holds immense promise, as the nation harnesses the Earth's internal heat for electricity generation. Gearing towards energy transition, the Philippines is now open to 100% foreign ownership and targets an RE share of 35% in the power generation mix by 2030 and 50% by 2040. The Philippines ranks fourth as one of the most attractive emerging markets for investments in the power sector, attributable to RE policy mechanisms on preferential dispatch in the wholesale electricity spot market, renewable portfolio standards, Green Energy Option Program, and Green Energy Auction Program. The Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop streamlines and digitizes business processes, using an online platform to create an environment of transparency and accountability. The Philippines beckons, extending an invitation to join hands in shaping a brighter, more sustainable future. The Department of Energy transcends boundaries and leaves a lasting impact to strengthen the country's renewable energy sector. The Department of Energy, charting a course to green energy excellence.
It's time to take charge of a fully electrified future with ACMobility. Building a growing network of EV charging stations all over the Philippines. Travel from Tagaytay to Baguio and beyond, minus the range anxiety. As we make EV travel more convenient thanks to more and more charging locations. ACMobility takes you further so that you can move forward.
Nak, kaya pa? Okay po.
Nak, may pamerienda tayo dun, ha? Mahusay, anak.
Sir!
Nak, ikaw munang bahala dito.
Ako po?
Yung investors, close the deal. I trust you.
When the moment demands it, the only path forward is to choose courage.
Sir. This is too inefficient. I'm sure there's a better way.
Not just to face what's in front of you, but to transform.
Hi sir, nice to meet you. Anna from Glow Business.
It's the decision to grow, to push beyond limits, and to reshape your own potential. It's choosing not just to endure, but to turn challenges into progress. Doubt into determination, and fear into fuel.
Nak?
Kamusta?
Pa, you're supposed to be resting.
Something wrong at the plant?
Kakayanin naman po. I've got a lot of help behind me.
That's good.
Oh, hijo,
Sir,
congratulations.
thank you so much, sir.
Your digital transformation will set us up for years to come.
When the moment arrives, choose to rise above. Choose the courage to transform with Globe Business.
it's essential to familiarize yourself with evacuation procedures. In the unlikely event of an emergency requiring evacuation, please follow these steps. Locate the nearest exit. Identify the nearest exit, which is clearly marked. These exits are located in the elevator area ahead. Follow LED screen instructions. Emergency guidance will be displayed on LED screens throughout the venue. Follow the displayed instructions to locate the safest route out of the building. Remain calm and orderly. Stay calm and avoid rushing. Follow directions from the staff and emergency personnel to ensure a smooth evacuation. Assist those in need. Extend assistance to anyone who may need help, including the elderly, children, or individuals with disabilities. Safety is a shared responsibility. Lastly, gather at the assembly point. Once outside, proceed to the designated assembly point located at a safe distance from the building. Staff members will conduct a head count to confirm everyone's safety. Your safety is our utmost priority, and these measures are in place to ensure a swift, organized response in case of an emergency. Should you have any questions or concerns or require assistance, please don't hesitate to contact our event hotline at 0917-820-9831. Thank you for your attention. We look forward to an inspiring session ahead. Kindly stand for the Philippine National Anthem.
Mga kababayan, ang pambansang awit ng Pilipinas. Kayang magiliw, telas ng sinakanan, alam ng puso, sa dikit mo'y bumay. Lupang hinirang, kuya ka ng magiting, sa manluluping, di ka pasisigil, sa nagagang putok sa simoy at sa langit ng panggaw, ay hinatang pula, awit sa pagkayang minamahal. Matawad mo'y tagumpay na nag-iindig. Ang bituin at araw niya kailan pang ay di magtitindig. Luman ang araw ng warhabit pagsinta, mo'y langit sa piling mo. Ang ligaya na pagkay mag-aakit, ang mamatay ng dahil sa'yo.
You may now take your seats. Please focus on the screen for some key reminders. For our on-site guests, please put your phone on silent or vibrate mode. Maintain silence while speakers are presenting. And the panel session is ongoing. Live questions may be asked during the panel discussion. Kindly use your designated gooseneck microphone. State your name and affiliation, then your short and direct question. Please do not forget to mute after speaking. This lab will be recorded for documentation purposes. It is also available on our Facebook page at Liveable Cities Philippines. For Zoom and Facebook participants, please type in your questions via the chat box or the comment section. Vote for questions you like by clicking on the thumbs up icon. To help us improve our labs, please answer the feedback form. You may request for a certificate of attendance by answering the form. Keep us in the loop. Feel free to tag our social media accounts in your posts and stories. Thank you everyone for joining us for our 6th Liveable Cities Lab of the year. We are excited to have you here as we explore and discuss the transport landscape in the Philippines as we adapt cleaner, greener, and more energy-efficient options. To officially begin today's Liveable Cities Lab, may I call on Liveable Cities Philippines Program Director, Ms. Yenny Gonzales, to the stage and introduce today's guest speakers.
Thank you, Migs. To welcome all of you is Guillermo M. Luz, or Bill as we fondly call him. He is the chairman of Liveable Cities Philippines. He currently serves as the Chief Resilience Officer of the Philippine Disaster Resilience Foundation, so he's been busy this morning. Mr. Luz is also the chairman of the Rizalino S. Navarro Center on Competitiveness and the trustee of the Ramon Magsaysay Award Foundation. So he's not that busy because beyond these roles, he contributes his expertise as an advisor to the Asian New Zealand Foundation and the Common Purpose as ASEAN Leadership Program. He also serves as a member of the APEC Business Advisory Council and as a trustee of the Ateneo Center for Economic Research and Development. Please welcome Mr. Bill Luz.
Thank you, Yenny, for the introduction. And good afternoon, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Liveable Cities Labs. This is our 6th this year, and I believe our 62nd, I think, in the ongoing series. So we're happy to welcome you here, not only on site at Ayala Triangle Garden Tower 2, but also over Zoom, because we run our sessions always on hybrid. And I'd like to welcome you to this session, which we bring to you in partnership with the League of Cities of the Philippines, Coca-Cola, Globe, and ACMobility. Now, today's event, Evolution in Motion, Accelerating Clean Transport in the Philippines, is actually the 3rd installment of our labs on electric vehicles. So we did one a year ago, 2024, and we also did one in 2023. And I was just thinking through the evolution of our discussions since 2023. When we first started talking about EVs, we focused mainly on passenger vehicles and two wheels, so motorcycles, electric bikes, and some commuter vehicles, mass transit. And today now, since last year, we focus on passenger vehicles, commuters, and commercial vehicles. And there's been such a dramatic change over the last year, just 2024. The data shows clear progress. Since the early 2010s, the use of electric vehicles in the Philippines has expanded from private cars to public transport, commercial fleet, and community services. And DOE reports that there are now more than 900 publicly accessible EV charging stations in operation. So in 2024, EVs represented nearly 4% of total vehicle sales in the country. I must say, I got so excited between last year and this year that I have now placed an order for an EV hybrid myself. So I'm slowly going to get out of internal combustion engine cars and move slowly into the EV hybrid world. So this growth is structured by national policy, primarily the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act, or EVIDA, and the Comprehensive Roadmap for the Electric Vehicle Industry, CREVI. These policies set a clear national target: 6.31 million EVs and 147,000 charging stations by 2040. Achieving these targets requires a shift from planning to execution. Local governments are already applying EVs in practical ways, such as mobile health clinics, police patrols, and free public ride services. The advantages of these applications include reduced operational costs, decreased air pollution, and improved public transport options. This leads to the core theme of our event: sustain and ability. For this lab, that means focusing on strategies for clean mobility, strengthening supportive policies, and integrating electric transport into local communities and services. And just to repeat, since last year, we met the same 3 companies: ACMobility, GET, Mober, And we're happy to see such strong growth in each of their sectors, passenger vehicles, commuter vehicles, mass transit vehicles, and commercial EVs. And I think this is the right way to address our mobility and traffic picture. And this year, we're happy to add Department of Energy into our mix in our discussion because they're going to be so important. Especially, we'd like to hear about their policy towards, where do we find the energy and how do we incentivize producing, the right energy for EVs? Because if we are going to claim that we will decrease pollution, I mean, it makes just sense for us to source it from clean energy. Also, I think a bottleneck, and I was just talking to Yusek Wimpy here, is that a bottleneck seems to be the permitting process around chargers. And I remember years ago when I was in the National Competitiveness Council, our common complaint, one common complaint from the telcos was the permitting process to build a cell site. And it took longer to file for the papers and get approvals than to build the cell site. And this is my fear that's happening with the chargers as well, that if we have to go through so much regulatory headache and red tape, our rollout will be affected, I think, to build the infrastructure necessary. So today's session is really focused around that. How is the market going? What direction is it headed in? How are we going to build the infrastructure? And how are we going to power that infrastructure? And so today it should be a very entertaining and educational session. Now, we've got a great lineup of speakers, both here on site and live. So I'll just announce who they will be. Aside from the persons we have in the room, we're going to have some people speaking online over Zoom. A couple of mayors, we were hoping. We had confirmed originally Cebu Mayor Nestor Arquival to speak, but as you know, there was an earthquake in Cebu yesterday, so he has had to beg off from attending today's session. But we had talked with him a couple of weeks ago, and he was very excited to be able to speak about the EV program for Cebu. However, we will have Mayor Raisa Treñas of Iloilo City. And Iloilo City has been also very aggressive in pushing an EV strategy for their city. So we'll be happy to listen to Mayor Raisa a little later on. Today, we'll be also joined by Attorney Felix William Wimpy Fuentebella from Department of Energy. Carla Buencamino, Group Head for Mobility Infrastructure of ACMobility. Bong Marcelo for Mober Green and Tech Logistics. And Kyle Tiñga for the Sustainable Transport Specialist for Global Electric Transport. So we've covered all the bases today. We look forward to a very eye-opening and exciting discussion. As usual, I encourage all of you to get your questions ready. We'll always take questions live on the floor from here on site. And you can direct your questions directly to any of our speakers. And of course, on Zoom, we encourage everyone to submit their questions in the Q&A box. And we'll be able to hope to tackle as many questions as possible during our panel discussion. So thank you for joining us today, and we look forward to a very insightful afternoon. Thank you.
Thank you, Bill. We will first look at the national policy landscape that is enabling this electric vehicle evolution. It is my privilege to call upon our first speaker, Attorney Felix William Wimpy Fuentebella, Undersecretary of the Department of Energy. Yusek Fuentebella, Yusek Fuentebella is a key driver of the country's energy future, with a distinguished career in public service, including his tenure in the House of Representatives and his leadership at the DOE since 2016. He brings a deep understanding of both policy and implementation. In his current role, he oversees the Critical Energy Policy and Planning Bureau, placing him at the very center of shaping the strategies we are here to discuss. His topic is essential to this conversation: electrifying the future, Philippines EV strategy for 2030 to 2040. He will outline the comprehensive framework from the EVIDA law to the CREVI roadmap that guides, that guides our nation's transition to clean transport and sets the targets we must collectively achieve. We are truly honored to welcome Undersecretary Wimpy Fuentebella to the stage.
Thank you, Ma'am Yenny. Salamat and magandang hapon po sa ating lahat. Oh, sige. Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I thought that was my bike. No, mine is gray. Kala ko ako yun eh. My hair naman is not brown or blonde. Anyway.
Had to show it, sir. That's the model of the car, the bike that you came in today.
Yeah.
So you're walking the talk.
Nagulat ako.
Practicing what you preach.
Yeah, it's downstairs. Yeah, that's my ride. Okay. So okay. Yeah. So we're going to talk about livable cities. And kanya-kanya tayo ng version ng livable. But I hope we also have a common goal, because that was what the legislators were targeting. We were discussing what the advantages are of the Philippines in ASEAN and in the other countries. That's why if we're able to discuss it well, not focusing on the negatives, but on how much we have already built our system. So sometimes, nakakalimutan natin na we have had experiences why we are here right now. So we really have to look back. Why did we sell all these power plants and have the Electric Power Industry Reform Act? And then, before that, why did we have the oil deregulation law? Kasi sabi ng mga negosyante, I think si Tito Bill was already active at that time. You don't want government to compete with the private sector because it's unfair. It's just like me putting up a resort in my town using taxpayers' money and then expect the others, the young graduates, to compete with me. And the young graduates will ask money from their parents as usual. And the mom or the parents would say, how will you compete with the mayor? Tapos, and so on. Anyway, so we did that also because we were not able to prioritize or emphasize the importance of energy. So energy, when I talk about it for laymen, it basically tells us, or it gives us that capability to do more work. Actually, yun yung parang Google Translate ng energy. It's to enable us to do more work. Like, if I have electricity, I'm able to study and beat my classmate who's not able to study that night kasi wala siyang kuryente. It's like competition. So, also because an office has electricity, is able to do more work as compared to another factory that does not have electricity. So that's how it is. But we were able to organize our energy infrastructure during Marcos Sr.'s time, not because he was envisioning that we should have one. It's because there was a war. And in that war, one small country. Oh, the secretary is calling. We have one small country that beat the neighbors. Israel beat the Arab countries, the neighbors niya, Yom Kippur War. And the way for the Arabs to get back at all those who supported that small country. Can I answer first? Hello. Sasalita ako. Sige. Mm. Mm-mm. Shopee ka. Tawagin kita sa line. Saan? Tawagin kita. Shopee ka. Tawagin kita sa line. Sorry may ano kasi yan. May earthquake emergency. Ala. Busy siya. Ayun, tatawag yan. Hello? Tumawag. Oh, yeah. Mm. Yeah. Hindi. Okay. Sige. So I need the status. Yeah, Shopee ka. Oh. Na, better. Nagsasalita ako. Sige, go lang. Sige. Alamin ko. Hindi. Hindi GCP. Hindi. Localist. Now, we had a crisis in the 1970s. So that was the birth of the OPEC. So sabi kasi ng mga natalo sa gera, nakakainis yung mga kakampi ng Israel. Gantihan natin. Tayo naman nagsusupply, nagtitinda ng oil sa kanila. Grupuhan natin sila. Diktahan natin ang presyo. So nagdoble, nagtriple yung presyo. Tapos, ang reaction naman natin is the birth of the energy infrastructure in the Philippines. Kasi it used to be with the Department of Environment and Natural Resources. And then we had to form the PNOC, Philippine National Oil Company. And then, basta ganun yung kwento. Okay, di pa ako pinapanganak nun. So, kwento yun sa libro ni Minister Velasco. So, nauna pa yung Petroleum Board sa pagiging Ministry of Energy. Okay, yun yung kwento natin ha. Okay. So, number 2, 1980s, Iran-Iraq War. Nadoble yung oil crisis. Nagkaroon na naman. Okay. So, ang problem kasi, meron tayong incentive or subsidy sa pagbili ng oil. Ang subsidies kasi, pag nagkakaroon ng krisis, hindi mabilis maka-adjust yung government. So lumulobo yung utang, lumulobo yung bigay, tapos yung mga tao hindi ramdam yung totoong nangyayari. So business as usual ang galaw kahit krisis ang nangyayari. Kaya nag-direct tayo. Para pag sumipa yan, usap yung mag-asawa, isang kotse na lang. Ngayon mga ganon. Pag sumipa rin yung kuryente naman, napabayaan kasi yung Department of Energy, namatay siya, na-downgrade to an Office of Energy Affairs. So we don't have a DOE or a ministry. And then what happened? We had the power crisis because we did not run the Bataan nuclear power plant because of threats that there will be an earthquake in Bataan, which did not happen. Huh? So, you get it? It's because we failed to acknowledge what happened before. So, we have to know this because other countries, remember next year we're chairing ASEAN, other countries are trying to copy us because Malaysia, anyway, wag na akong masyadong naka-record tayo, no? Okay. Our neighbors have been subsidizing their petroleum and electricity. And when there are crises, my problem, it's just that they have their own rich petroleum source and we don't. So yun yung status. Pero kung pag-uusapan sa mga teachers or sa mga ekonomistang nagre-rating, credit rating, when we explain it properly, our system is self-healing. We don't subsidize. In fact, we tax our energy. We don't subsidize. Our neighbors, Indonesia, they subsidize because it's there in their constitution. So hirap din talaga silang tanggalin. So yun yung nangyayari. So we were over that already. So IPIRA, oil direct, then we have blending of biofuels, then we have renewable energy law. So 2005, 2008, it's not easy to get here. Now we have Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act. So we cannot analyze EVIDA as one law, but we should analyze it as part of a series of laws. And it's part of just one chapter of our energy story. But to really go back to our energy story, we had great ancestors. It's just that we were too in love with our colonizers. Diba? We had the use of gravity energy to maximize water and grow rice 2,000 years ago. Diba yung Mount Banawe Rice Terraces is an example. So now we want to go back. Clean air, we want quiet transport addressing both air and noise pollution as a city. And in addition, we don't want our dollars coming out. Ha? Anong connect? Kasi sabi ko nga dun sa mga staff namin sa DOE na gumawa nito, si Oliver tsaka si Jeric, yan, pipicture. May relatives ba kayong OFW? Wala. Meron pala. Anong ginagawa na? Papadala ng remittance. Dollars, padala. Tapos tayo, paggamit natin ng energy, dollars, palabas. Coal, petroleum, di ba? Ang weirdo. Bayani, padala ang pera, gasta. So you want to be bayani ourselves, no? By utilizing indigenous, that's by Filipino, right? So it's connected with RE and indigenous. And we also have to save money. Upfront cost, mahal, but it's getting there. Tama ba? Mga diskwento ba natin nandun na? Mga GET, tsaka Mover, tsaka ACMobility. Mataas na ba yung diskwento? Because aside from the incentives, the operations and maintenance are really down. And exempt tayo sa number coding. Ako, yung motor ko, nagiging bisikleta kasi electric siya. So pwede ako dun sa mga bawal dapat. So, kailangan lang i-align natin yung mga plano. So, the Philippine Energy Plan is aligned with the PDP, the Philippine Development Plan. And we also have the Philippine Energy Transition Program. And then we have the CREVI, the Comprehensive Roadmap of Electric Vehicle Industry. It's an industry ha, hindi yan para sa pagbili lang natin. Kasi nakakonect din yan sa minerals ng Pilipinas na, ito nakakatawang kwento din. Meron tayong Company A na affiliate ni Company B. May affiliate din siya si Company C. Si Company A nagbubungkal ng iron ore, copper, ganyan, no? Tapos pinapadala niya raw papalabas. Tapos si Company C, binibili yung produkto sa labas para maging wire sa loob natin. Pero isang kumpanya yan, grupo. Ang weirdo, no? So, yun yung binulong ko kay Presidente nung 3 months old pa lang yung, no, February yun eh. So, 8 months old yung administration. That's why we also have that strategy that our minerals will have to be processed here to support this transition. And it should be processed here. But it's pending. So, meron kasing mga balancing act na ginagawa for that. So basically, you have to align all these. But the targets are, of the fleet, we have to have 10%. So business as usual. And we increase it for our clean energy scenario to 50%. So we also have to do that to support yung ano natin, climate change actions. So sa ngayon, these are the numbers, no? 24K ang registered. Ang nabenta sa sales nila ACMobility, nila Mover, 48K. So parang may mga babies tayong walang birth certificate. Wala siyang rehistro. Kalahati. Ganun yung picture. Okay? Tapos, ang target kasi natin by 2028 is 311,000 units. Kasi ito yung Marcos administration. Hanggang dun siya. Kasi nakakonect nga sa Philippine Development Plan. So, yun ang target. We're now at 8%. Kung rehistrado ang pag-uusapan. So, nakuha niya yung picture. Pero kung bibilangin natin yung totoong tao, totoong vehicles na nabenta, doble siya. Okay? So, nandun yung picture natin. Ba't ko sinasabi yun? Livable cities, kahit nakarehistro yan or hindi yan nakarehistro, gagamit yan ng daan natin. So, para masundan natin kung ano yung mga pinaggagawa ng mga congressmen natin because of our push also for these parang blocks, building blocks. So we have the Electric Vehicle Industry Development Act. Nandiyan pinanganak yung Comprehensive Roadmap for Electric Vehicle Industry. Pinilinaw ko yung industry kasi ang goal talaga niyan dapat may mga mekanikong marunong dito, may mga gagawa ng vehicle dito. So dapat may know-how, naka-align si TESDA, naka-align si CHED, naka-align si SUCs, naka-align si DepEd sa trabaho patungkol dito. Tapos naka-align yung natural resources natin towards this. So, but syempre, titingnan din natin na nakafocus siya sa mga mandato namin. No? 10% of the vehicles should be EV. That's mandatory. No problem. 5 minutes daw. And then, sa 20 parking slots, 1 parking slot should be dedicated to EV. Doon ang nakadraft. Yun ang susunod natin. And then, meron siyang mga EV charging stations na dapat ilagay sa mga parking slots na yun. So we also have fiscal incentives. Zero ang tariff sa EV. Sa excise tax, 100%. Sa full, 50% lang yung hybrid. Mag-full ka na, sir. Kasi takot siya sa walang charging station. May nagbebenta ng meron kang charging station sa bahay mo. Nakabundle siya. Okay. Di ako salesman, sir, ha? Pero it's just through experience. Because my daughter was very wise. Kasi yung gasolina niya, kalta sa allowance niya. So, kinukuha niya yung EV. So, mayaman siya. Diba? So, ito naman yung policy na yung charging stations natin kailangan naka-unbundle. Oh, pinanalo pa namin sa Supreme Court yung sa petroleum na mag-unbundle, ipakita sa DOE. Oh. So, i-unbundle yan. But syempre yung sikreto ng bawat negosyo na hindi siya malugi, protected dapat. Kasi yung privacy ng data, protected dapat siya. Tapos, ano yung policy sa pagrehistro? Kasi sabi nga ni Sir Bill, ang daming ang dami ng requirements. Meron tayong Energy Virtual One-Stop Shop. Nakatutok lang kami ngayon sa power, transmission, generation, and distribution. Yun yung computerized na streamlined processing, digitalized siya. Siya yung nauna sa it's more focus sa energy, the ease of doing business. Pero ito yung nangunguna sa digitalized. Yung EVs dapat nakalagay din dyan. Pero hinay-hinay lang. Okay. And then, we also have the EV recognition to ensure na hindi madaya yung mga policies natin. Kasi meron nagpapanggap na EV ako. Pero yung pagka-EV niya, electric lang. Yung mga ilaw, hindi yung makina. So, gusto magparehistro. So, DQ siya. And then, we also have this tool to enforce the EV charging station requirements. Kasi, bibili ako ng vehicle, tapos pagpunta ko sa charging station, sasaksak ko na, ay, hindi match. Bakit maraming butas to? Ang butas dito sa akin ay 2 lang. Mga ganun, no? Okay? Yun. So, yan yung mga ginagawa nating mga strategies. Yan. Sorry ha. Okay. So, gusto rin natin magkaroon tayo ng digital community. So, alam natin kung sino yung may mga charging stations, available ba siya, pwede ba ako mag-reserve. Ganun dapat yung tutok natin. So, mas importante kasi yung kwento kaysa yung libro. Kasi yung libro pwede niyong basahin later. So, ito diniscuss ko na yung financing schemes. Under train. Tapos yung mga diskwento. Ang maganda rin dito para tayong senior citizen. Priority tayo sa pila ng pagpaparehistro. Kaya lang yung pagparehistro ng motor ko na electric, di ba dapat 3 days lang, sabi ni Presidente. 3 weeks na wala pa. So, ganun. At sinadya akong sabihin sa Facebook yun. Tapos, nakakatuwa kasi pag tinetext ko si Secretary Vince, nakalimutan ko yun, nasa DPWH na pala siya. Sabi ko pala mukha ka ng matanda. Si mukhang bata yun, baby face. So marami tayong mga financing scheme na pwedeng gawin. No problem. 3 minutes daw. Pa-slide ko na to eh. Pero ang tanong talaga ni Sir Bill, paano daw ipapower to? May numbers talaga tayo na ma-monitor natin siya. Okay. pag nagkakaroon tayo ng crisis sa petroleum at nagkakaroon tayo ng crisis sa coal, napapabilis yung transition natin. Because mahirap kasi magsabing beneficial to and we're vulnerable pag hindi nararamdaman. So, bakit bumilis yung natin, yung pagbili ng EVs? Ano nangyari? Nagmahal yung gasolina. Di ba? Nagmahal yung diesel. Tapos merong sinabi si Sec Vince. TOTR siya. Papasara natin yung EDSA. Di ba? Tapos, pwede lang yung EV. Hala, ayun, nag-ulanan, EV. Meron nangyari sa atin noong January 2022. Hindi niya masyadong naramdaman kasi yung Meralco, pag bumili ng power supply, iba-iba yung technology. Pero meron kasing mga nag-ARCOA, Retail Competition Open Access. Hindi niya nagagawa sa Russia. Galing ako sa Russia, wala silang ganun. Pilipinas lang. Ano yun? Yung may option yung consumer mamili sa diretso sa supplier. May iba dito bumili diretso sa coal kasi mura. Nag-triple. Bakit? January 2022, Indonesia had a problem of their coal service contractors not complying with their local requirements. And so they banned the export of coal. And that scare, because 90% of our imported coal, 95% comes from Indonesia. And nag-triple. Pero hindi nangyari January. Kasi may binili na silang coal nun. Nangyari siya mga 2 to 3 months after. Kasi pagkatapos mong sabihin ito na yung impact ni Indonesia, magbibill ka pa eh. So yung bill darating pa next month pa. So 3 months after. Nag-triple. So pag sinabi natin cheaper kasi walang pass-on, yung upfront kasi mahal. Upfront ng RE mahal. Upfront ng EV mahal. Pero once you operate and maintain, it's cheaper. So when we say low cost when? Low cost for us now or low cost for the next generation? So who will have to bear the burden? That's the choice. You know, we have to really count our blessings because even our history books would tell us to get angry at authority, we were colonized. Look at it this way. We earned our independence because of very young people like Rizal. We have the Gomborsa story, the branding of Filipinos, because we don't know who we are. Are we Peninsulares, Insulares, Indios? Are we Tagalogs, Kapampangans, Bicolanos? We're Filipinos not there. So we were able to do that late 1890s. No Limitangere was there to introduce Philippines. Right? And then the Americans came in, friendly, yeah. But they delayed our political independence by 48 years. And delayed it further after 1946. Our economic independence was delayed until 1973. With that constitution that was questioned because it was the Marcos Constitution. But it was able to get rid of the parity rights. We have to have the positives. What were we able to gain? And stop counting the dead people every day because yun yung kwento ng ate ko na nakatira sa Singapore. Mom, why is it that every day a Filipino dies? Nanonood ng TFC. TV Patrol. So, it's okay. We have to be critical. But the point is, for us, economic planners, negotiators, we have to build on something para masabing we have to get this from ASEAN, we have to get this from COP, and we have to get this for the next generation. We have to know what we're able to. Kasi ayokong ikwento sa anak ko yung tragic stories as a bedtime story. No, it should be a fairy tale. And we have a lot of fairy tales. And we can create more by accomplishing all this. So we have to align the charging to RE. Because pag hindi, pag cold pa rin yan, lumalabas pa rin yung dolyar. And vulnerable pa rin tayo. No clean air, still noisy. That's why I had to go to the bathroom early just to make sure that pagpunas ko ng mukha ko, yun, itim, libre pulbo. Hindi siguro yun ganun pag naka-EVs tayo. Time's up. Okay. So, I guess that's it. Thank you very much. Oh, by the way, for the cities, we have the fiscal and non-fiscal. You have to, the LGUs will have to come up with the green routes. The green routes are where the EVs will be. It's like the bus lane. May priority siya. Yun yung hindi namin napapakilaman kasi nasa LG yun, sa EVIDA. So parking sa amin, incentives, non-fiscal, sa LG yun. So diskartehan nyo kung saan.
Thank you very much, Yusek Wimpy. Your presentation shows that Evida and Crevi, with Evida and Crevi, we now have a clear roadmap for EV adoption. It sets targets for vehicles and charging stations, provides incentives, financing schemes, and aims to build a local EV industry that creates jobs and supports innovation. May we remind everyone who is joining us via Zoom, you can please type in your questions at the QA box. And for those in the Facebook Live, please type in your questions in the comments section, and we will answer them during the panel discussion later. Our next speaker will bring the national strategy into focus by detailing the current state and practical expansion of EV infrastructure. Please welcome Ms. Carla Buencamino, the Group Head for Mobility Infrastructure of ACMobility. Ms. Buencamino drives ACMobility's initiatives as the country's first end-to-end mobility solutions provider. With an educational background in engineering and management and over 28 years of experience, she has been directly involved in projects ranging from electric motorcycle manufacturing to the development of electric vehicle charging systems. Her extensive experience bridges the critical gap between high-level policy and on-the-ground implementation. She's here to provide a clear-eyed view of our progress and the road ahead with her presentation, Driving Change, the Present and Future of EVs in the Philippines. Please join me in welcoming Ms. Carla Buencamino.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Good afternoon, everybody. To my fellow speakers, Yusek Fuentebella, Mayor Treñas online, you have Bong, Kay, Tiñga, and our attendees both here in person and online. Thank you so much. We're happy to be here, and of course to the Liveable Cities Philippines. We really thank you for gathering all of us under this very important theme. No? This afternoon, I'm going to talk to you about how we at ACMobility are building an expanding integrated EV ecosystem and a growing platform that is designed to eliminate barriers and make sustainable mobility practical. And for it to be the preferred choice for Filipinos across communities, whether you live in dense urban cities or maybe in growing provincial corridors. No? So by way of introduction, allow me to talk you through a bit about our organization first. The Ayala Group actually holds several capabilities that could support the development of the Philippine EV ecosystem. So ACMobility's place inside the Ayala ecosystem, it actually has a very practical advantage. No? We actually don't work alone. So the beauty of it is that we are able to coordinate, we are able to synergize across retail, banking, you have telecom, property, and even our energy affiliates. That allows us to accelerate rollouts. It allows us to be able to secure quality sites. And of course, we want to be able to integrate yung touch points to the users themselves. So for ACMobility, our ambition is very clear. 2030, we want to be the leading new energy vehicle platform in the Philippines. And to accomplish this, you need more than one element. So what you see here is the pillars that make up ACMobility. You have the distribution and retail of the vehicles, you have the actual infrastructure itself, and an after-sale and aftermarket component. So allow me to talk you through individually. We are currently providing a number of OEM brands to the market today, both under a distribution in a dealership arrangement. Today, our electric vehicles are mostly carried through BYD and Kia platforms, and also some new energy HEVs rather, or hybrids, no, under Honda as well. But as you can see now, the beauty of it is that now you see more EVs on the road, no? Maybe last year you did not see too much cars. Now I dare say that probably your neighbor, or when you go out to the highway, you will most likely see an electric vehicle already today. So I'm happy to share with you that just within ACMobility's platform alone, we actually have 16 new energy vehicles. So when you say new energy vehicles, you're referring to plug-in hybrids and full battery electric vehicles. We have 16 models across our portfolio. And if you include the hybrids, we have 19 in total. And that allows us now to be able to touch all price points, right? So the vehicles are under 1 million for the cheapest models, all the way up to luxury vehicles. So depending on what kind of experience, what kind of journey you are in your life, in what kind of option that you take for your own personal vehicles or corporate vehicles, there actually are options already today. But as you know, it's never about just the cars, right? And if we really wanted to make sure that the adoption becomes real for the Philippines, it was very important that we had to develop the infrastructure with it. So ACMobility is committed into building that infrastructure, and we created the infrastructure side of it, which is basically being able to put up public charging stations across the country. And I'll show you a little bit more about that later, but that includes also having an interoperable digital space that allows users to find where these charging stations are and also how to engage it. And then of course, you have the adjacencies, because apart from just buying your vehicle, you have to be able to maintain and look at your vehicle throughout its life cycle. And this is where the Bosch Car Care comes into play, no? So if you look at all of these and you put these together, this is really how we strategize accelerating adoption for the country. So let's look at some trends for the vehicles. Right now, as we said, no, the adoption is very real. And as what Yusek Wimpy had said, no, marami ng EVs in the market today. And just to share some statistics with you, in 2024, and the numbers that you see here only refer to passenger vehicles. So the earlier data, this is the entire industry, and you will see that in 2024, new energy vehicles comprise 4% of all new vehicles sold. Okay. When you look at 2030, the projection is that number will be anywhere between 20 to about 40% new energy vehicles sold each year. So that's a lot. That's a very big jump. And the question will be, what or how will they charge, right? So we will have to prepare for that. There are other trends that you're seeing, and this is really going to shape how mobility will be in like medium term. So for example, people are looking for faster charging, right? Because you want now to try to mimic how fast it is to gas up in the gasoline station. So parang gusto mo ng parehong experience, right? And then the other one is that there's a growing popularity over plug-in hybrids and range-extended EVs. And these are your technologies that help bridge. No? They're semi-electrified solutions that allow you to bridge the experience to being full electric. No? And this is being able to balance flexibility and also efficiency for you. And then another trend you will see is that the connectivity of your cars is increasing. Your cars are like huge cell phones, right? They are connected devices. You have more electronics in the vehicles themselves. And before, for example, advanced driver systems, mga ADAS, right? They were just features that you would be able to get in certain models. The new models now come in with them as default, they're standard features. And that changes the way the consumers now perceive the features of these cars, no? And then, of course, I think the two-wheel is always going to be there. There is a strong trend towards two wheels, of course, because of the affordability of this segment. So just to show you another one, just so that I don't know if you're familiar with the PHEV, maybe a new terminology that you might be hearing about is EREV or EREV, and this is range extended vehicles. Basically, both of these technologies provide like a hybrid solution where you have both a motor and an electric motor and a gas motor at the same time. In a plug-in hybrid, the beauty of it is that you can actually run fully independent on your electric vehicle, or on the electric side of their vehicle. And the difference with the EREV is this: you have like a internal generator that allows you to power up that battery when it needs more charging. So again, these are, as you can see, the technology is growing. On top of this, if you look at the next slide, there are really much more developments going on. You're going to see that the charging, the OEMs now, if you see in the news, pabilisan na ng charging station, no? Pataasan ng range. You're looking at better batteries, higher ranges for the vehicles, and faster charging experiences. And that will continue to grow. And really the challenge for us is like, what do we do today? Because a lot of these are still under development. So I think what is important for us is that we have to be able to put together the enabling pieces, right? For us to be able to accept these technologies moving forward. And what do you need? So very basic for us will be, we have to have a reliable charging infrastructure. We have to have clear regulations, and we have to have public education. The public needs to understand these new technologies because it's a different lifestyle, it's a different technology as well, and a different mindset. And for the infrastructure part, that would be future-proofing the hardware. You know, you will be able to upgrade these equipment in the future. You're looking at operational readiness. You want a very robust ecosystem so that when we have these weather interruptions, how do we service charging stations nationwide? No? And finally, of course, you have digital and grid readiness, which the good USEC also alluded to as well. So let me share with you what ACMobility does in this space now. So ACMobility brings together all of these goals, and our mandate is really to catalyze EV adoption. And so we are creating what we believe is the country's most comprehensive EV ecosystem, whether it is for home, for public, or for commercial use. We do have the solutions to meet your needs. And good news, of course, is that we have deliberately made our solutions brand agnostic because we want to democratize charging for everybody. So what do we say pag brand agnostic? No? Any OEM brand can use our charging stations as long as you are compliant to the plug standard that the DOE has mandated. So it's open access for everyone, and all of our elements are the same. No? So whether it's the infrastructure, so you'll see there are different pillars. On the infrastructure side, the ACMobility charging hub is the brand of, it is our branded public charging stations. We have them in malls. We're putting up in buildings. We are putting up in, for example, city centers. And in the future, you're going to see more of these in highways and in major motorways. So literally in destination areas included as well. No? And we have a mobile solution. I'll talk to you a little bit about that later. No? But we have a mobile EV charging solution as well. We have a digital platform. As we said, there has to be a way for you to find where these charging stations are. And the other very critical part that Evro does, and this is under the customer-facing app called Evro. So Evro allows you to discover where the chargers are. You will be able to engage. You know if it's available or not available. You can engage the charger and you can pay online as well. So Evro is also an integrator, right? It is allowing interoperability across different charging station brands. So just like ACMobility being able to accept all other OEMs, Evro also includes other brands in their network as well. So today they have the largest list of charge points that are available that you can engage. And so we really hope that we will pursue to find, to engage more charge point operators in the future. And then finally, you also have a services side because you need home chargers. And when you buy an EV, a home charger does usually come with it, and you want to ensure that your investment is safe, and of course that your installation and your personal being is safe by having the chargers at home. And they are also able to support commercial requirements as well. Okay, so on the next slide, this is just some images of what the digital experience looks like for Evro. So it's this is something that you can download. Please try to download Evro. It's free in both Google and Apple. And at the same time, to make sure that we try to give the greatest value back to the people, we also created a membership platform. So this is where you're able to get value for money and then get some discounted services as well through our charging stations. Okay, now I'll go to a very interesting part because as you said, we have a lot of pain points in the country pa rin, no? Apart from us still needing more charging stations, there's a challenge for us under, for example, buildings that cannot have charging stations. So our mobile van, and you may have seen this before. This is a fast charger on wheels. It's a very, very big power bank, 120 kilowatt power, 120 kilowatt charger dispense. So what this does is both delivers power to your home or wherever you want it to deliver power to. But at the same time, this is also our mechanism for roadside assistance. So in the future, your insurances would be able to carry these types of services as well to give you that added comfort, and confidence that you can take your car anywhere. Okay? All right. Okay, and then allow me to just give you an example because we're talking about the future here, and Yusek Wimpy also mentioned about being green. This is the Corinthian ultra-fast charging hub of ACMobility. This is in Corinthian Car Park by Makati, in the heart of Makati. And it features ultra-fast charging stations here. So we have 480 kilowatt power and a 240 kilowatt DC gun. And this is really going towards a direction where you need fast charging, especially in a dense city where yung mga buildings around it do not have the capacity to put up fast chargers or many chargers. So there was a very strategic intention to put this in the middle of all of that because it becomes a shared facility for that community. And this is something that could be a model for other cities that would want to have like big business centers or a cluster of several condominiums. This is a good solution for that. Now, the other part that I want to highlight is that renewable energy is very important. And this particular site, through the Department of Energy's Green Energy Option Plan, no, the GEOP, this is 100% renewable. ACMobility's platform or ACMobility's network today is about 50% on renewable energy. We still are targeting to try to bring in more of our charging stations, but right now 50% is already on renewable energy. And we will continue to drive that number up. And the other portion here is, there's a sustainability portion here, and our sustainability programs really just go beyond the infrastructure. But I do want to share that there is a DEI aspect of our commitment as well. And apart from putting renewable energy and creating the infrastructure, we also created a partnership very recently with Don Bosco, and this is to put female technicians that are supporting this mobility space. No? So hopefully we will see more and more women in the transport industry very soon. Okay, so and then finally, maybe as a way to close, we cannot do this alone. The private sector cannot do this alone, and we really need the different stakeholders to do this. And we're doing a lot of cooperation with certain LGUs as well. And you will see here some samples of some deployments already where we've been able to cooperate with LGUs to bring in solutions, because we have a lot of benefit today. You see a lot of benefit. Being green or doing electric mobility means less noise. It means less emission, right? Which eventually means also that you have improved health and improved well-being. But if that is the effect of passenger vehicles, you can just imagine if the transport industry or the ones with heavier mileage uses also are able to transition, right? And so that's what the situation will be, and that's the transition that we need to make, that hopefully more and more vehicles will convert. And to us, we hope to be able to provide that support and to partner with this is not only for Ayala's ecosystem, but also a partnership with other parts of the, other stakeholders, be it LGU or private or corporate now, that look to transition into this space as well. So thank you so much, everybody. Thank you.
Thank you, Carla, and for sharing that ACMobility is building the full ecosystem with faster charging services and digital platforms while working to power stations with renewable energy, paving the way to sustainable mobility. Our next speaker will provide a critical local government perspective on implementing sustainable transport. Mayor Treñas is the first elected lady mayor of Iloilo City and leads with strategic agenda focused on rising livability and nature-based resilience. Under her administration, Iloilo City has emerged as a leader in electric mobility, having recently hosted the National Workshop on Electric mobility and launched the region's first electric taxis. Her background in business and entrepreneurship brings a results-oriented approach to building a more inclusive, climate resilient, and economically vibrant city. She's here to share Iloilo City's journey with her presentation, Moving Smarter, Iloilo's Sustainable Transport Shift. Please join me in welcoming via Zoom the Honorable Raisa, Mayor of Iloilo City. Welcome, Mayor.
Yes, good afternoon, everyone. I'm very thrilled to share the bold steps of Iloilo City is taking to create a transportation system that is not just efficient, but truly future ready, and always with the best interests of our people in mind. At the heart of our efforts, Iloilo we have a clear vision to have a transport system that is inclusive, safe, efficient, reliable, and climate resilient. This vision is guided by our Rise to Action Development Roadmap. Transportation isn't just about moving vehicles. It's about supporting our people and our planet. Our sustainable transport shift directly contribute to rising health and social services, access to quality education and social services, comprehensive health and wellness, rising economy, trabaho at negosyo, immersive tourism and culture, rising livability, orderly and safe communities, and nature-based resilient sustainability. Our modern transport, public transport, we know that every modern city needs modern public transport. And our strategy is focused on a cleaner and better ride for every Ilonggo. We have our local public transport route system, our LPTRP, a rationalized routing system with more than 1,500 modernized jeepneys and 500 already operating. It features air conditioning, CCTV, Wi-Fi, GPS, and compliance with the European emission standards, with 2 EV routes and with 20-kilometer route length. For our modernizing public transport, we are also working with the Safe Travel PH for the Parasol program, an open system solution for coordinating paratransit operations in developing countries towards energy efficient and paratransit operations. Our future-ready projects is the development of the Metro Iloilo Integrated Public Transport System. Lately, we have a project together with Swed Fund and SWECO. They have 33 million to study the integrated public transport system of Metro Iloilo. And also, we have a proposal with our electric bus rapid transport system that the proponent is First Balfour. It will be, if ever, the first BRT that is not uh, funded by the government but funded through PPP. And also, for our championing our active mobility and infrastructure, our proposed program with DOTR for park and ride with EV shuttles for schools. We have this new program that we are coordinating with schools. Since Iloilo is a growing city, we are trying to reduce the traffic during peak hours. And one of the programs that we are looking into is to partner with our schools. So lately, we have some talks with our schools if we can do an EV park and ride shuttle for schools here and private schools in Iloilo. And right now, we are in talks with some of the private schools to lessen the traffic during peak hours. And also the development of our green routes in the new business districts for the deployment of EV vehicles. And for our championing active mobility, Iloilo City is recognized as the most promising bike-friendly city at the Southeast Asia Mobility Awards just this September. And also, we have right now a partnership with DOTR on the Active Transport Master Plan Pilot Program. They went here early this July and they had started gathering information, and from our discussions, they will finalize this master plan by end of the year, and they can integrate it in our LPTRP. Also, we have integration of the bike lanes and plazas, parks with a 9.29-kilometer Iloilo River Esplanade, or what we call the longest linear park in the country. Also, we have an expansion of II bike program, which is now up to 100 kilometer of bike lanes covering Metro Iloilo. For our infrastructure and connectivity, Panay-Guimaras Negros Bridge aims to cut travel time and improve regional connectivity. And also this year, Iloilo International Airport to support tourism and transport will be upgraded by end of the year. For our global recognition and partnerships, Iloilo was featured at the Unido Bridge for Cities Forum in Vienna and also selected as a pilot site for the Climate Resilient City project by USAID and COICA. UN SCOP pilot study for e-bus deployment. They also assisted some of our co-ops for some of the e-bus deployment here in Iloilo City. And our global recognition and partnerships, we are very proud of our Galing Pook Award for our iBike program in 2022. And our latest award is the most promising city for bike transport and as a bike-friendly city at the Southeast Asia Mobility Awards ceremony at the Clean Mobility Collective C Southeast Asia in Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia. For our ongoing projects in Iloilo City, we have 2 existing EV routes, proposed green routes for our new business district, proposed park and ride for our schools, for our EV shuttle, our Parasol project, UNSCOP pilot study for e-bus deployment, and our ongoing negotiations for our EBRT for PPP with First Balfour. Iloilo City is setting the benchmark for clean, inclusive, and future-ready transportation through innovation, partnerships, and community engagement. Iloilo is paving the way for a great, greener tomorrow. Thank you, everyone.
Thank you very much, Mayor Raisa. And thank you for joining us. I know your schedule is extremely busy, but thank you for your time. It's very impressive what you've done in Iloilo, and I understand you're happy to take a few questions right now, right? So let me open up the floor to questions if anybody would like to ask questions from Mayor Raisa. But maybe let me just start regarding your modernized jeepneys. Are these how are these modernized? Are they just reconfigured jeepneys, or were they made into EVs?
For our modernized jeepneys, we only have 2 routes, meaning 2 cooperatives who have EVs. But the rest, it's just the modernized jeepneys that what we see in the streets, the buses, the mini buses that was upgraded. That's what they call now the modernized jeepneys.
Okay, so Mayor, the other the bus system and BRT and things like this, are those going to be publicly run, or I suppose the PPP one will be run by a private company, First
Yes.
Balfour, for instance?
It will be run by First Balfour, but First Balfour will be focusing on the 3 major arteries that we have and also the connectivity with the Metro Iloilo, the first towns near Iloilo City. And they will be incorporating some of the modernized jeepneys that we have in their routes. So they will be serving the secondary artery. So we will integrate all the modernized jeepneys and the EBRT in the Metro Iloilo transport system.
And with all these systems running between the jeepneys and the BRT and the buses and so on and so forth, will the ticketing system be a connected ticketing system? Meaning, if people use cards or their smartphones, can they, get a ride on one route and then transfer to another route and just use the same ticket or the same ticketing system?
I I think that's the goal for the EBRT to integrate the modernized jeepneys to the system to make it easier for everyone, the transport access in Iloilo City. And maybe after that, incorporating a few uh, modernized jeepneys, we can also encourage the other cooperatives and some of the businesses who are into transport to have an integrated system. I think that's the beauty if we integrate everything. It makes everything easy for everyone and easy for transport.
And how about the energy source? Are you looking at, would you have enough clean energy sources in Iloilo or Panay to power up the EVs running around the city?
Um, since we're doing talks with First Balfour, since they're also a power generation company, and maybe we can do solar, or we can do. We're looking into the numbers because if it's a full EV, it will be too expensive, or if they'll do a hybrid. So right now, it's one of the considerations is the costs of the vehicles or the buses, but they're looking into having a solar a source of their electric vehicles.
And are there currently electric vehicles running in Iloilo City right now? I mean, do you have enough population of cars and commuter and commercial vehicles running in Iloilo?
Yes, our like we've shared in the slides, we have two EV routes in our LPTRP here with I think more than 20 buses going around Iloilo, and the acceptability of EV in the personal vehicle is also in demand here in Iloilo.
Okay, thanks. Any other questions from around the room? Yes, please.
Hello. I'm Mayor, and I guess my question was more of framed for the League of Cities, but I guess that could also work for the city of Iloilo. And since we have Yusek Wimpy here, also maybe he might be able to answer. Um, so I'm with the Philippine EV community. We have almost 50,000 EV users, and I'm an EV owner for a year and 2 months already. Driven almost 20,000 kilometers on all electric and mostly solar at home. So in our EV community, many prospective buyers are ready to buy a fully electric vehicle, but they are hesitant to go fully electric because of the impression of a lack of public charging. And as Mr. Hill mentioned earlier, the DOE reported there are 900 publicly accessible chargers this year. And earlier this year, there was a press release that there will be a target. There is a target of 7,000 publicly accessible chargers by 2028. Maybe for the DOE, the question is, will we be able to be able to add 6,000 in 2 years? And also to add, the New York Times reported that in Nepal, what they did was they were giving away power transformers to accelerate the deployment of EV chargers. And now they have 76% of new cars sold being electric. So the question is, for any of the league's members or the city of Iloilo, are you planning to do something similar like that, like of Nepal? And as a leader in sustainable transport, do you have a framework that can be developed so no city and small municipality is left behind? Thank you.
Hi, Mayor Raisa.
Yes, thank you for that question. Actually, right now here in Iloilo, it's only handful that are adapting to pure EV. Maybe because of one of the issues that you share, that our issue is the lack of charging stations. Maybe this is a good move if we can have some projects on having charging stations all over Iloilo, and maybe we can talk to some of the partners or car makers who can assist, especially those who have EVs, that if we can locate in some of the areas to provide charging stations to make EV more accessible for everyone. Because even I actually, my husband would want to get an EV, but with the number of kilometers, that is one of the main issue. But with the new gen of EV, he was sharing to me that the kilometers is more than double already, so that will give us safer, it will give us better chance that if we go around Iloilo or if we go to Boracay, we can get to our destination safe. But maybe one of the initiatives that we can do, we can partner with car dealers here, especially we have a couple who are already I think they're already waitlisted because the some of the Ilonggos would want to shift to EV, and encourage them if we can put in some of the government offices or facilities charging stations to make it accessible for everyone.
Yeah. Hi, Mayor Raisa. I was saying hi lang kasi si Wimpy to.
Hi,
You remember?
hello. Yeah.
You fed me hot chocolate in your
Yes,
house. Yeah.
yes. Hello.
Your dad, yeah. Ganito, no? Actually, to answer the question ni, what's your name again?
JP.
Si JP. It's more of a matching game kasi we have an investment promotion office in the Department of Energy. Sometimes it's about petroleum, sometimes it's about upstream, and sometimes it's about EV charging stations. We just have to connect people because there was one, I think it was ACMobility that was asking for the number of Mayor Magalong because they wanted to, kayo yun, no? Yeah, they were asking for the number of Mayor Magalong kasi they want to put up one in Baguio. And then I informed them, I'll give you the number of Mayor Magalong for as long as you also put up in UP Diliman and then UP Manila, right? These are the numbers of the chancellors. So it's just that you just have to let us know where the demand is, where you want to put it up. And I'm sure Iloilo City has an investment promotion office as well. So does the Department of Energy. We can connect people. So same as my wife, she did not believe in what I was saying about EVs because she's my wife. Until she read about me on the papers. And then she started believing me. So probably it's just that. I was telling si Sir Bill, my wife kasi wanted hybrid. Sabi ko, mag-full na tayo. Tapos sabi niya, paano yan yung charging station, ganyan. Sabi ko, merong nagbebenta nga kasama yung charging station sa bahay. So meron din ganong style of sales. Kung meron ka namang parking slot, tapos meron kang extra circuit or whatever they call it technically in your house, it's easy to put up. It's part of the package. And the Department of Energy, I think I missed this slide, no? The DUs, we come up with a circular for the distribution utilities to make sure that these are connected. So sa Iloilo Power and then sa ano ba yung sa Iloilo Power na DU? Ay, more power pala. The more power, di ba? They can also be aggressive sila, Sir Roel Castro. And then, so will Veco, right? Si Anton will be also aggressive. So, yung DUs, kailangan lang ma-push natin. If there's demand, especially if there's demand, we'll never go wrong. The parking slots, we have this draft. I think I missed this slide, no? Kanina. One for every 20 parking slots, there should be a dedicated slot for you. And then one EV charging station for every 5 pumps sa gasolinahan. Yung mga tinadraft ng Department of Energy ngayon. So 1 to 20 sa parking slots. Halimbawa si Eastwood yata may EV charging station. Pero baka kulang yon kung bilangin na namin yung parking slots nila. So yung Ayala UP Town meron din, pero pag binilang natin yung slots nila, baka kulang na rin yun. Right? Kasi 1:20 yung binibilang. And then expressways, 1 kilometer from away within that 1 kilometer radius from all the toll gates. So may mga ganong strategy. Kaya lang draft siya. So ang ibig sabihin ng draft, idadaan natin sa public consultation and then yun yung exchange. Kung ilan ba talaga yung pwede. It can be increasing but still reaching the target and so on. It depends on the appetite of the participants. But the LGUs, there was one LGU who wanted to be aggressive in Pampanga. We suggested talaga na there can be lanes or roads that are purely for EVs, and that's one way to welcome it. Yeah.
Thank you, Yusek Wimpy. I have a last question for you, Mayor Raisa. What's the outlook for Iloilo City Hall? Do you plan to, because I understand it's mandated by the government and for the private sector to have so many % of their fleet as EVs over time, no? What are your plans for Iloilo, for your own workers, or let's say for your policemen or patrols or other types of services which need cars? Are you planning to set up and acquire EVs?
Yes, actually, lately, it is one of the studies that we did, because some of the vehicles that we have is already 6 years and we've started deteriorating. So I was telling them, why not let's get some EV vehicle, EV, because less maintenance, less repairs, and if we look into the savings, it's a higher savings also. So we're looking into purchasing some of our fleet into EV, so that we can have also savings also with our police, since we are assisting our police here in Iloilo. This year we bought 10 patrol cars to them, and if we give them EVs, it will be a lesser expense for us for the fuel also. We're looking into this because we want to have a more efficient fleet, and also with the savings that it could bring to the city.
Okay. Thank you, Mayor. I look forward to seeing, say, EVs as police cars and ambulances next time I visit.
They shared to me, because some of the cities are also considering to do that some of the police vehicles are already EV. And one of the considerations last time, that if we'll have a patrol car that's a pickup truck, it's more expensive than a regular one. So I opened up the issue to the PNP, and they were saying we can have a sedan as a EV or in the patrol car, not the pickup, because it will be more expensive if we spend for a pickup for an EV for the patrol cars.
Okay, so thank you very much for your time, Mayor. Good to see you. And
Something.
oh, you have some. Okay, Yusek Wimpy has one last word from the Mayor.
Yeah, regalo ko sa'yo. yung mandatory for government is to have 10% of the vehicles mandatory. That was from me by the military, yung G5, the planning, J5. Sabi ko, sorry, sir, personal niyo ba itong bibilin o para sa militar? Para sa military. Okay po. Ang sagot lang po dyan, comply. Kasi po, mandatory po sa batas.
Mm.
That's 10%. So,
Okay.
yung pina-hold ko na yung purchase ng office namin ng ICE kasi hindi kami mismo, baka hindi kami makakomply sa 10%.
Okay. We can look into that. So our future purchase, maybe we can purchase more EV.
Yeah.
Actually, just this morning, ang CIDG went here because they're requesting for a vehicle also. Support ng LGU sa kanila. So maybe
And
we can look into it. Yes?
May 531 rule.
Yeah.
Pag naka-ICE ka, 5 pesos yung gastos mo sa isang distance, no?
Yeah.
Pag naka-hybrid ka, 3 pesos yun.
Mm.
Pag naka-full ka, 1 peso yun. Oo.
Okay. Thank you, Yusek. Thank you.
Actually, may mga decimal points yan. No? Tinanggal ko lang yung mga decimal points. So it's 531 but it's 1.71. No? Yeah.
1.7. Okay.
Tapos mas malaki yung savings sa 2 wheels.
Mas malaki.
Sa 2 wheels.
Oo.
Yung gamit ko ngayon. Pero libre pulbo yun.
Yeah, I think one of the considerations lang namin if we deploy EV sa PNP is the charging stations. Maybe we can look muna into upgrading them into solar para doon na sila kukuha ng source of charging sa solar panels.
That's a great idea. Thank you once again, Mayor, for joining us this afternoon.
Thank you.
And I look forward to seeing you in Iloilo one day. Thank you.
Thank you. Good afternoon.
Good afternoon.
Thank you, Mayor. Moving on, our next speaker will demonstrate how the evolution is transforming the logistics sector in real time. Please welcome Mr. Feliciano Bong Marcelo Jr., Vice President of Operations and Sales at Mober. Mr. Marcelo brings over 3 decades of leadership experience from global companies like GE and Bayer, with a proven track record of scaling businesses across Southeast Asia, Australia, and New Zealand. With a background in chemical engineering and an MBA, he combines deep operational expertise with strategic vision. He is here to share how Mober is driving this change forward with his presentation. Mober is electrically powering sustainable logistics in the Philippines. We are privileged to now invite Mr. Bong Marcelo to share his insights.
Thank you, Yenny. Ito lang daw. Video mo.
Every day the world moves. Goods are delivered, businesses open, lives keep flowing. But behind every journey, there's a choice about how we move. At Mober, we chose the greener road. From day one, we believed logistics can be fast, reliable, and kind to the planet. We've led the way with many firsts, the first in the Philippines to embrace an all-electric delivery fleet. The first to show that green logistics can be both sustainable and profitable. And the first to inspire partners to make their own green shift. Along the way, we've been honored with awards that recognize our commitment, not just for innovation, but for the future we're building. But our real reward? Our people. The dedicated employees who stand at the front line of our business, driving every delivery, solving every challenge, and carrying our mission forward. They are the heart of Mober, the reason we continue to lead the way in green logistics. Green logistics isn't just our business, it's our mission, and we'll keep leading the way. For the businesses we serve, the communities we love, and the generations yet to come.
Thank you. And good afternoon once again. It is my distinct pleasure to be presenting on behalf of our company, Mober, and to be speaking alongside with my fellow speakers, Yusek Wimpy, Kyle, Carla, and our good mayor, Raisa of Iloilo City. At Mober, we celebrated our 10th anniversary last week, and we pride ourselves as a pioneer in green logistics revolution. Beyond electrifying logistics, we are also focused on establishing a full green ecosystem. Again, it's not just EVs, but it also includes renewable charging hubs that we expect to come along in the coming months or so. At the moment, Mober is focused on expanding its EV fleet. By the end of the year, we will have a total of 200 EV available, which we expect to bring to a fleet size of 600 by 2026, and hopefully in 3 years' time, bring the fleet size to 2,000 EV units. That will also include the transition of light to heavy trucks. Along with the expansion of EV fleet, Mober is also focusing on expanding its charging facilities. Right now, we have a charging facility located in Macapagal Avenue in Pasay. It can charge 80 to 100 units simultaneously. We have 2 high power and fast charging facilities and more than 45 slow charging facilities there in Pasay City. And we plan to build 2 more, one in the south, most probably in the highly industrialized city of Santa Rosa in Laguna, and the other one in the north to service our clientele located in Bulacan and Pampanga and further up. The 2 mega charging hubs that we plan to build will use solar PVs and BESS, battery energy storage system, in order to power the chargers. This page is all about inclusive workforce. At Mober, we aim to constantly strengthen our diverse pool, and that includes female drivers. Right now, we have about a handful of lady drivers, and we continue to encourage more and more lady drivers to take part in this industry. I'm also happy to share that just recently in our company, we launched an initiative from the company Mober. We call it Move Her, and this aims to recognize the contributions of our female members of the workforce, not necessarily the drivers, but each and every member of the team. And that I would like to acknowledge my colleague, Ms. Vice President for Marketing and Communications, Ms. Sherry Santos, who launched this initiative. Once again, in Mober, we emphasize that, just as we provide focus on technology, we also focus on people. We always say that the main business of the company is really about people. No matter how good your EV units are or how sophisticated the technology is, if there's no one to drive it and there's no one to handle the delivery requirements, then it becomes a meaningless endeavor. That's how we put the emphasis. Part of our expansion is for EV trucks and battery swapping. This will enable, as you know, a fully depleted battery to be changed into a completely charged one at a faster pace, thereby causing no downtime because you don't have to wait for the charging to be completed for you to use the vehicle again. And of course, instant turnaround. So part of the expansion facilities will include the technology of battery swapping to make sure that there is no downtime. And again, as I was just talking to Bill and Carla earlier, it also addresses what we call range anxiety, which is normal for every, like the wife of Yusek, who considered that. Like, see, Yusek, I was listening intently. I think for everybody who aims or who desires to have an EV, like Mr. Bill, he opted to get a hybrid at this point, right? I think somehow there's a factor of what we call range anxiety. So with this, we hope that it will address it properly. Mober also sees a future on autonomous EVs. or self-driving EV units, be it semi-autonomous or fully autonomous, of course, using sensors, radars, and the aid of artificial intelligence. We see this as a means to lower cost per delivery, 24/7 utilization, safer operations, and redeploying drivers to higher value roles. So that's how we see it, and we are actually looking into this intently, making studies as early as now, so that when the future is ready for unmanned EVs, then we are there as well. At Mover, we say that we are not just adopting the future, we are also shaping it. And that encompasses everything that I said earlier, from lady drivers, that's the culture of the company, empowering our women workforce, to autonomous EVs, from battery swapping to renewable hubs. That's what Mover is aiming for at the moment. Centered on a 100% EV infrastructure, Mover's commitment is focused on technology, infrastructure, and people. Once again, this is us, Mover. We pride ourselves as the pioneer in green logistics revolution. Please visit our website for more information, www.moverdelivery.com. This has been Bong Marcelo. Thank you very much for all of you.
Thank you, Mr. Marcelo. Your presentation shows us that the electric delivery is truly a working solution. By shifting your energy fleet, they can cut fuel use, reduce pollution in our streets. And it's heartening to also see that you have your female empowerment program, Move Her, because women, we run the world. Our next speaker will show us how sustainable public mobility is being implemented to create inclusive and accessible transport solutions. We'll welcome Ms. Tiñga, Sustainable Transport Specialist from Global Electric Transport, or GET. She holds a master's degree in transport and city planning from University College London and specializes in electromobility. In her work with GET, she has piloted transformative transport solutions for employees at major corporations and has been instrumental in projects that promote social inclusion, such as a recent initiative with the Department of Social Welfare and Development to involve persons with disabilities in the sustainable transport sector. She's here to share expertise in accelerating the shift to sustainable public mobility. Please welcome Ms. Tiñga.
Thank you so much, Ms. Yenny. Thanks also to the speakers that have come before me, to USEC Wimpy, Fuentebella, Ms. Carla, Buencamino, Mayor Raisa, Treñas, and Mr. Bong Marcelo. I just want to start by saying some of these slides might feel familiar from 2024, because when I was asked to present, it was to do with how we're working to move forward in sustainable public mobility. So I thought, what would be more appropriate than taking a look at our past in order to reflect on our now and our future. If you were watching Liveable Cities 2024, if you're watching a similar lab last year, you might remember this slide. We don't need more roads, we need less cars. I think this is a principle that is still as valid in 2025 as it was in 2024 and will be in 2026 moving forward. In a similar way, the market size for the jeepney still exists, although as we saw in the presentation of Mayor Raisa, LGUs like Iloilo, among many, many others, are already taking steps to look towards modern jeepneys, more electrified jeepneys. This is the same principle as it was last year. Technology is coming to the rescue. And I'm sure by now, those of you who have seen parts of this presentation are like, when's the new stuff coming? It's coming, I promise. So Here's something a little new. In 2024, we had a different model of vehicle. That's a new model that's looking up at you. It is still a world-class zero-emission 35-passenger electric minibus, but it's got a few new bells and whistles, which I will describe in a later slide. We are still supported by a fast charger network that has been expanded and will expand thanks to some of our partners in the private sector and also thanks to the generosity of the Department of Energy. As well as a smart app-based fleet management and fare collection system. While this does exist as the GetPass app that supports our current B2B systems, we will also, and I will talk about it, are also supporting the Love Bus app that is supporting the Love Bus rollout that some of our attendees here, as well as at home, might have already seen on the streets. So what's a little different about our Comet 6 compared to the Comet 3? You can ask about the numbering later. I can talk about it later, not right now. Firstly, we have a vastly expanded vehicle range from 100 kilometers to up to 200 kilometers due to an expanded battery pack in the vehicle. We have also made it, thanks to our collaboration with our PWD partners, which I'll talk about later. It is a lower floor vehicle that uses a manual ramp. We previously used an electric ramp in the Comet 3, but this was often slow to start or sometimes jammed. So thanks to their feedback, we have created a more accessible vehicle, which in the future we hope to make even more accessible and usable for persons across every spectrum of our society. Besides this expanded besides the increased range of our vehicle, the lower floor and the ramp, we still maintain our ability to fast charge the vehicle. We still have onboard Wi-Fi. It is still air conditioned. We promise we didn't remove that. And we are still utilizing a state-of-the-art GPS tracking and fleet management system, which means that our operations teams are able to know where the vehicle is and what its condition is at any given time. So this responsiveness is part of what has made us trusted by so many of our corporate partners. And it's also valuable technology and information that is going into our current and future public rollout. So the data that is collected has been collected through our GetPass app and is being collected through our LoveBus app is able to tell us where people need to go. One of the nice things about us having run corporate service for several years is that we have so much data, both quantitative and qualitative, of the actual routes that people want to utilize when going to and from their offices, their places of residence, or even what they do in their leisure time. These are valuable data points that we will be using in partnership with the LTFRB and the DOTR when it comes to furthering our LoveBus rollout, giving them actual real-life information about where people legitimately want to travel. Information that we think will corroborate and assist in the creation of future routes. In terms of our environmental impact per vehicle, this is a similar slide to what we had last year. Each vehicle is still traveling approximately 80,000 clean kilometers per year, serving over 150,000 commuters, and doing about 65,000 kilograms of particulate matter reduction per year. What's new is besides the fact that we have new partners that we have expanded to working with within 2024 and 2025. If you can see, we work now with Robinson's Retail, ING Bank, and Wells Fargo, among other partners. We also now have 2025 statistics, which we definitely didn't have last year. So as of June 2025, and definitely here now that we are in the start of October, we have served over 4 million passengers, traveled over 5 million clean kilometers, which has led to CO2 reduction of over 2.5 million kilograms. I think this was also mentioned earlier by a number of the other speakers. One of our operational advantages is that there is a lower operational cost when it comes to running our Comet vehicles. It is also cheaper to repair. There are less maintenance costs when you compare us with a traditional ICE vehicle. And also with the assistance of existing subsidies and programs under Avida and Crevi, it's become even easier for us to bring these vehicles to the road. Now, here's what's really new. When I was asked to talk about sustainable transport, I really wanted to get to the root of sustainable. I think for common parlance, a lot of people like to equate the word sustainable with just being green. And I think this is a valid interpretation, but it's not necessarily a complete interpretation. When we talk about sustainability, it's about creating a future that will not negatively impact the present. When we think sustainable, we are establishing what will come after us to the benefit of our present society and our future society. So one of our two initiatives, I think, that really cuts to the heart of sustainable transportation is the ETS SLP, which stands for Electric Transport Service Sustainable Livelihood Projects. Now, this is a program that we are conducting alongside the DSWD. And what makes this program very special is that the DSWD launched a pilot of 20 sustainable livelihood project associations, each composed of 115 low-income persons with disabilities. Now, each of these SLPAs received 2.5 million pesos. 2.4 million of those pesos went into co-investing in one of our new Comet 6 vehicles, and we, as GET, financed and provided the other half. Now, what's exciting about that is because they co-invested in these vehicles, they receive 50% of any profits generated by that vehicle. Besides giving us that essential feedback that went into the creation of these Comet 6 vehicles to make them more accessible, what we really did and what we're trying to do moving forward is to improve their livelihoods of some of our most vulnerable Filipinos. But don't take that to mean that we're coddling or babying them in any ways. We give them their profit statements regularly. And I think everyone in our office knows that these are actually our stakeholders who hold us the most accountable. They're the ones who communicate with us the most directly. And they're the ones who are very clear when they're asking us, you know, where is our money coming from? What are you spending on in terms of expenses? How do we know that you are conducting these businesses in the best manner, not just in a profitable way, but one that is really, how do I phrase this? One that is really of benefit to Filipino society and to the public. And one of the things that they most clamored for, really, when we started the Sustainable Livelihood Project was transport that will be not just of benefit to them as persons who will receive profit, but also transportation for all, transportation that will not leave anyone behind. And we were very fortunate, I think, that not only had we been working towards this goal, but the national government was also working towards a goal of a sustainable transport project, hence the Love Bros program, which just relaunched last September. So I have been told several times that this was a program that existed in the 70s. I was not alive, but I'm going to assume it was a project that many of you hold much nostalgia for. What I can tell you about our current Love Bus rollout is that, number one, the current fleet is just 10 vehicles, and that's running 2 initial routes. But we are with the support of the national government and all of our relevant agency partners, working towards expanding that fleet and the number of routes, using our data collected from our time serving many corporate partners, as well as the existing data, so that we're not just flying old routes that exist, but working towards new routes that will actually be used by a riding public. This says providing free shuttle service for the first month of service. When I submitted this, that was correct. We are actually expanding that free service to October 15. And this doesn't encompass the fact that actually our free service will continue during peak hours. It should be noted that we are able to do this through the generosity and subsidy of the government. We are generous, but not so generous that we do not pay our drivers. Someone has to pay for it. But what the initiative actually that we are putting forward, because of the clamor of 115 members of 20 associations each, that is thousands of people who are telling us, we want you to make this public transportation that is accessible for everyone. So moving forward, persons with disabilities will always ride free on the Love Bus. That was a company initiative, empowered really by them and their voices. And I think this program really stands as a symbol of like the public-private cooperation that we want to see, that they wanted to see. And ultimately, yeah, so I'll just go over the routes a bit. We do have our first route through from VGC. Please note, this is VGC, not BGC. We've heard that mistake a lot. We are going from Valenzuela. We hope to be in Bonifacio Global City soon. But for now, it is through VGC because as part of the expansion of the ETS SOP project, we actually have brought in another 20 Sustainable Livelihood Project associations, 10 of those being in Valenzuela. And those 10 will be receiving 50% of the profits from these vehicles that run through Valenzuela. Oh, I did forget to say, PWDs get to ride free. Non-PWDs do not. They have to pay during off-peak. So that's the other way. If we tell them that the profits are going to persons in need, hopefully that means they'll be willing to pay. So this is a familiar slide where it says the solutions to the world's problem will come from the places they are needed the most. I think last year, when our company president and my father actually brought this up, he took this to mean that this is a solution that will come from the Philippines because this is a place where we are transportationally vulnerable, where we have been vulnerable to pollution, to congestion. Certainly in the past few months, we've seen we're extremely vulnerable to the effects of global warming and climate change. When I bring it up now, this year, I take it not only to mean it is a solution that comes from the Philippines, but it has also come in part to us from this country's most vulnerable persons. At the same time, we believe that a global problem is a global opportunity, and that the Love Bus program and the Sustainable Livelihood program that we are engaged with now, that these are solutions that are not only applicable here in the Philippines, but could possibly be case models and case studies for similar situations in similar countries or even any other country across the world. I say this because I studied, I think it was mentioned earlier in my blurb, that I studied in London. London is in the UK, and you would think that as a first world developed country, transportation would be much more accessible and much simpler for all persons. I had several friends with disabilities, persons who use wheelchairs, persons who use mobility aids. That was not true. most evenings, my friends who wanted to travel with me, we ended up just having to move. We couldn't use the bus necessarily. We definitely couldn't use the train. It was much easier for them to just take to the streets regardless of the risk of being on the street, because it was easier than actually taking transportation. So I would like to think that if we that the solutions we're implementing here and now means that we can turn the Philippines not into a place that is ridiculed or necessarily mocked for our transport situation, but one that can be used as a good example of how to pilot transportation moving forward. More importantly, sustainable, accessible transportation. Ooh. There we go. Our goal was not just to build a better vehicle. Our mission has really always been to help build a better world. And I hope that not only we here at GET, but with the cooperation and the competition of all of the others in the EV sector and our adjoining sectors, we'll be able to make that possible. Thank you so, so much.
Thank you, Kyle. Thank you for showing us how data can make public transport smarter, but also stressing that sustainable transport matters with their PWDs and low-income individuals' profit-sharing scheme and improved livelihoods. It's also nice to see that you're bringing back the Love Bus, although I'm not familiar with it because I wasn't born yet. Yes, it's true. So now we're here, and thank you for listening to all our speakers. So if you can give us a few minutes to change the setup for our panel discussion. And we would like to welcome all our speakers again. The Honorable Raisa Treñas, who joined us via Zoom, Attorney Felix Wimpy Fuentebella, Undersecretary of the Department of Energy, Ms. Carla Buencamino, Group Head for Mobility Infrastructure of ACMobility, Mr. Feliciano Bong Marcelo Jr., Vice President of Operations and Sales of Mobile Green and Tech Logistics, Ms. Tiñga, Sustainable Transport Specialist of Global Electric Transport. We will open your questions and a chance to engage directly with our experts on today's topic on accelerating clean transport in the Philippines. We'll take both questions here on site and virtual questions from our online participants. Please state your name, affiliation, or company you're representing, and direct your question. Let us know which panelist you're directing your question to. May I turn you over to our moderator, Mr. Bill Luz.
Thank you, Yenny. First of all, thank you to all the speakers for the presentation. You know, this is one panel where we've always been able to assemble such a remarkable set of companies and speakers to talk about respective segments of your industry. And it's always good to see the amount of growth that we've seen over the last year or two. No? So thank you very much for that. So as Yenny said, we're open for questions. We always welcome questions from the floor. We welcome questions on Zoom. We don't have too much time, so we're going to make this quick. Please introduce yourself, your institution, direct your question to a specific person, and then keep the questions short so we can cover as much as we can. All right, we'll take the first question. Who is the first question here? Yes, please.
Hi, I'm Frankie Enriga from GET. I work with Kylie. Okay, this question is directed to Yusek Fuentebella. We all know the problem with the cell site towers, the permitting. So how do we reduce the friction in permitting? Maybe we can bypass LGUs altogether, or maybe force them to do a 24-hour turnaround and reduce the cost, because they like to talk about, is it still being recorded? Okay, well, they like to talk about being green and moving towards electrification, but they fail to understand that they can't run their fleets without charging. So why give the people who are installing chargers a hard time?
Yeah. We already have this energy virtual one-stop shop. So we have that formula. It just has to be expanded to the EV sector. So what is it? It's streamlining. It's all online. It's paperless. So even if you're in Cebu, you can monitor what's happening in your paper dito sa Manila. Parang ganun. So it's just how we expand it. It's just that NGCP and ERC, and now we're lining up with DNR and DAR to come in. Yeah. They want to exercise their mandate kasi. But it's regulating the regulator. That's the essence of the law. So it's there, and then we have our intramurals also with the other agencies. The HSUD is planning to have more requirements, LGUs also. So we just have to align ourselves. But we have that model. The EVOS steering committee is under the office of the president. And any disagreement, like if we disagree, we don't have to have consensus. The president will decide. So ganun siya. So we have that formula. It's just a matter of expanding.
Thank you. There's another question. I see a question here. Okay, go ahead.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is John from the Advocates for Good the Advocates for Good in the Philippines. So I would like to direct my question to Ms. Kyle. So first of all, I'm very impressed with the Love Bus, but I'm curious if we could also shift the narrative to people like me who live inside subdivisions. Kailangan po namin sumakay ng tricycle. And you mentioned kanina na livelihood po, di ba? So I was wondering if in the future, I don't know if I'm too idealistic, but maybe we can, I don't know if we can explore that or infiltrate that market. Kasi ayun po, for me, we need to like provide livelihood rin para sa mga tricycle drivers natin. So thank you po.
No, please, first of all, please don't apologize for being idealistic. I think too many people have apologized for that too many times. In terms of tricycles and infiltrating that particular market, actually, the existing tricycle and jeepney market is something we've been quite cautious about because I think there's been a lot of concern about whether these are persons who will be losing their livelihoods if we with our vehicles encroach. I know certainly when the PUV modernization program first came out, a lot of the problems that came along with it was the fear that we were going to be that operators and jeepney drivers are going to be iced out of that. So if we were to move, if GET personally was to move in that direction, then we would have to be extremely careful. I know there have been previous electric tricycle programs implemented. I believe the ADB funded one several years ago, which didn't really materialize in the way that they had hoped. I think there is a future where that could be done because definitely access into subdivisions and into smaller roads, which our minibus would definitely struggle with. And we've personally seen has struggled with the smaller roads. I think electric vehicles and EV tricycles being done by a larger body is possible, and in a way where tricycle drivers can be paid in a dignified way and can have certain pride in their work. But I think it will take a lot of effort from whichever private entity decides to push that, as well as from the national government. There's also a lot of permissions, especially when it comes to subdivisions, because actually we've wanted to bring our vehicle into subdivisions, but there's a lot of specific regulations, whether it's in Bel Air or in Dasma or wherever you go, because each subdivision is a different entity, and I would not like to go into the specifics of subdivision politics. So let's make that up maybe for the future.
Thank you. One example I can think of electric tricycles has been Boracay. That has transformed from, years ago that was very noisy with two-stroke cycles. Now it's moved to electric. They have two types, rechargeable and battery swap. So it depends on the color of tricycle you're riding, if it's a green tricycle or a blue tricycle. And they're so popular that some of them work like a ride-hailing service. So you can use them like a traditional tricycle and wave them down and share a ride. Or if you want to get one on your own, you can get the phone number of the of the driver, call up the driver, and it's like a ride-hailing service, and it's used all over the island now. Okay, another question back here. Go ahead, please.
Hello, I am John Rafael Panis from the Advocates for Good in the Philippines, same as him. And I would like to direct my question to the Vice President for Operation of Mover. And I really like the product of your company, which is focused on logistics, and it is focused on trucks, delivery trucks. Do you think it is possible to further expand that idea to motorcycles, since there are delivery drivers that uses such vehicles to deliver parcels, and not everyone uses trucks to deliver parcels? Thank you.
Thank you for that question, and I'm happy to know that you appreciate the business model. We are actually on a B2B business model at the moment, but we are not closing doors on that. It's an entirely different story when you deal with motorcycles, but we have received some offers from potential partners to go into that. It's being studied carefully, but I'd like to share that we also have a couple of units, e-tuk-tuk, three-wheeled, and there's already one client that's very interested to get that, although it can carry relatively light load for delivery and within specific areas only. And the other one, we've already supported one government, and we gave it as a support in distributing free medicines. But definitely there's also an opportunity to go into that, and we have received offers and we are looking into that carefully. Thank you.
Thank you. Yeah. So e-tuk-tuk, you have two units moving now on that one. Okay. How many of you have bought and had something delivered to your home, and you bought it from IKEA? Anybody? Have IKEA? Bong, can you tell us how much volume of IKEA are you carrying on your commercial vehicles?
Thank you. I'm glad to see that at least a couple of members of the audience raised their hand. But we are proud partners of IKEA. We handle their home delivery and express delivery, including kitchen delivery and assembly. You must have noticed in the video earlier that we have assembly teams. We do not just deliver, we also assemble for those with the requirements like that. Sofa, kitchen cabinets, wardrobe. 2 weeks ago, my colleague and I actually joined the delivery, and we shadowed, and we also helped in doing the assembly work. Fortunately, also because of the good relationship with IKEA, Mover has expanded to Thailand. We opened the operations there last year, serving IKEA Thailand. So to your question, Bill, I think we are right now the exclusive delivery and assembly partner of IKEA here in Metro Manila. Thank you.
A question here? Yeah, please, back there.
Good afternoon. I'm Jet Severa from Renergy Systems. We have our charging station in Boracay for e-tricycles. And we use waste cooking oil to power diesel during power outage. We have a very deep learning curve in terms of implementation. We also had a partnership with JICA who funded this project. Basically, the system is working, but the real deal is with in terms of registration, in terms of all the paperworks. It's really long in terms of introducing new technologies. But yes, you can really roll out e-tricycles in subdivisions and in public places, but the curve is really tough. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Question here. Yes, please.
Hi, my name is Mac from Container Living and from AM. I don't know kung para kanino yung question, but I have two questions. First, are there any recycling facilities for EV batteries here in the Philippines? Wala. Okay. Second question is, if magkakaroon, or since wala, what support can we give for safe repurposing of end-of-life EV batteries for second life applications? Do you have any?
Maybe I can speak, but only from, at least from what our perspective in AC Mobility. No? Right now, there are no recycling facilities in the Philippines yet, but we partner with our OEM on how to handle these, the batteries. Now, there are partners in other countries that is able to do this, and there are under development. Now, I think there's a lot of talks around this in developing the capability in the country, but this is still under development. We have a couple years to go, right, for this situation, and there are technologies. Definitely, the reusing of the batteries is definitely a feasible solution. It's about converting the batteries for its second life. It's done already for home use, and I'm sure that this is going to be a path for us in the future. Right now, as I said, there's a lot of stakeholder alignment that still has to happen between both the regulator side and, of course, also others like the academe to bring the solutions to the Philippines.
Carla, just a follow-up question. How long is the first life, the original life of the battery, before we have to worry about a second life?
It's an 8-year warranty for your batteries, but that also depends on how much you drive your car, right? So if you don't drive your cars very often, maybe you have very short distances, your batteries will last you all the way up to more than 10 years for sure. And note that when your batteries degrade, it's not degrading to zero. It's probably degrading to about 80%. And 80% is very, very good for your house, but not very efficient for the car. So technically, there is certain value that is maintained over on the battery side.
Great. Thanks. Other questions? Is there another question here? Yes, please go ahead.
Hi. Thank you for the wonderful discussion on EV. To all the speakers. I'm Paolo, by the way, from I'm a consultant. Actually, my question is more on sustainable finance space in terms of green financing. Has there been any further discussion on like how banks interlay in terms of providing more incentives or more flexibility? Probably not just the universal, but through commercial thrift banks as well for charging stations.
Yusek Wimpy, would you like to take that question? I guess green financing.
Actually, there's a lot. It's just that it's again a matching. It's a matching problem again. So the BSP has regulations on that. And then the banks have competing programs on that as well. In fact, Pag-ibig Fund and the other government financial institutions are into it as well. I don't know. I think it's more of having a portal in trying to compile all these. Kasi I'm sure AI can do it. So there's one that we have here. It's a subsidy for the Public Utility Vehicle Modernization Program. It's more of the OTR, so I'm not really familiar with this. And there are also special loan facilities under the Speed PUV by the Land Bank of the Philippines. And there's also this program assistance support for alternative driving approaches, PASADA, by the Development Bank of the Philippines. So there are. In RE naman, if you're planning to put it up in your home, this has been there since Lelen Berberabe was the president of Pag-ibig. She's now the Solgen. So that was a long time ago. There's a home improvement window na pwede mong gamitin sa solar mo sa bubong. Ganun. So marami siya. Kailangan lang mag-shopping tayo.
Okay. Yusek Wimpy, I just want to shift the topic a little bit here. I was surprised with the information you told us that, if I understood you correctly, the car sales were running double the number of car registration? Is that
yeah. Okay.
How does that happen?
So I buy a light electric vehicle. Kinakatayo ako. I use it for the roads. No, every time you use it sa road, you have to register.
Right.
I tried. it's yun yung mga gaps.
Okay. So you mean to say it's more like an inefficiency?
Yeah.
The inability to get it registered at LTO
immediately.
Yeah.
And get the plate.
Yeah, because it takes so long. I mean, I bought a car and it took me years to get
Sinit
plates.
ako ng MMDA kasi walang plaka.
Right.
Hindi yung EV ko. Naka-scooter ako ng ICE. Ganun kalaki yung problema.
Okay, I see what you mean. Yeah. So it's really...
I bought it like
it's
8 years ago. I don't have a plate.
Yeah. It's more an agency inefficiency actually rather than people trying to skirt disclosure.
Yeah. But the good thing is what I shared was the sales numbers. Because whether it's registered or not, it will be used. So as managers of cities, I should know that number, not the one registered.
That's right. The more valid number is the sales.
I have to plan for the roads, for my comprehensive land use plan.
Yes.
I have to put up these EV charging stations.
Right.
So if I were a businessman, I will not look at the registration. I have to look at the sales. And good thing that these groups compile their numbers.
Yeah, that's right.
So that we know what the real demand is.
That's right.
Kasi kung gamitin natin yung nakarehistro, talagang kulang yan. Kasi kalahati, hindi nakarehistro.
Okay. Now I understand. Carla, a question for you. You were talking about the charging infrastructure. I'm not sure I heard you say anything about, will charging infrastructure be eventually located in gas stations? Because, I mean, gas stations, they have many locations.
Yeah.
So is that the direction you're heading in?
Bill, I am so happy to share that we just recently announced to the public a partnership with Shell. So ACMobility is putting up charging stations in 50 strategically located Shell stations. This is from north to south, and most of them are actually focused on like the regional areas with the intent to bridge the distance. So of course, we are very mindful about investment, right? These are very high capex investments, and so we're very deliberate about where we put these charging stations. So these are actually counted. You know, we look at the distance between these two stations, and you will expect to see the first ones come up within this quarter of the year, with the balance of that 50 hopefully with the first few months of 2026. And it does not end with the 50, but it is a start, and it's a very good start, and hopefully we can really claim that north to south you literally can drive a full electric vehicle throughout the country.
Okay, wow, that's great news. Okay, so Diliman is on the list according to Okay, let's have one last question, and I'm going to need you here as well, Yusek Wimpy. But last question I'll address to Kyle and to Yusek Wimpy. The numbers are great on the get side, you know, the number of passengers, the fuel savings, the savings on emissions and things like this. And you've done that primarily on a model built around corporate shuttle services. Now you've opened the Love Bus. Is this something that you're going to expand more into, sort of real public transport? And Yusek Wimpy, if this is so successful and the numbers are so convincing and they look it, what's taking the government so long to push that? I know it's not in your department, but what's taking the government so long to push the mass transit sector to move in that direction? Because I look at the government and, you know, their version of modernization is just to redesign the jeepney into something that doesn't look like a jeepney, and then maybe change the fuel, but it's still diesel. They never made a real quantum leap to let them go electric. why the delay when it makes so much sense from the public transport sector? Why don't we do that? Because I mean, if Get's gonna get into it, and will you expand into it, Kyle, or what is it?
I will speak.
So actually, what we did with Get was inter-service contracting. That addresses the demand risk, right? There are structural flaws in the land-based franchising model. So even if you try to change the mode of the vehicle and try to get people to shift, you still have overlapping. The routes are still overlapping. So you make an investment in a vehicle or in a new fleet of vehicle, but you're competing with the traditional vehicles pa rin. So that does not address the demand risk. So your chances of losing money are greater than making money, and that's why with the PV modernization, the loans that have been given to the co-ops that modernize, over 40% of them are in default because they can't afford to pay their loans back. So there's structural flaws. So for Get, we're looking at, okay, let's pilot the Love Bus first to see what type of model can work, and then at least you get it off the ground, then you can start evaluating other solutions or modernizing the other routes.
Just looking at the performance numbers, I mean, just imagine the impact this would have on a metropolitan region, a large one like Manila or Cebu. You know, when you start having EVs as mass transit. So, Yusek Wimpy, I mean, I know it's more, I guess, a DOTR type issue, but does DOE have a say in this? Can't the other cabinet departments pipe in and make a recommendation?
Actually, I was wondering why Evida is under the Department of Energy. Probably it's because we're just one part of the solution, but I think there's a problem in the DOTR already. They're full of issues with land, sea, and air transportation. There's a lot of political will that's needed because even in the LGU, it will not be covered by LTFRB anymore. The tricycles will be covered by the mayor. So that's another disalignment. So you have same as health. Tinagdag ko na yung health eh. So we have like level 4 and 5 hospitals under the DOH, and all the rest is under the LGU. And that's why we have this inefficient health system. So it's getting there, but you cannot do it from the top alone. You have to do it from the bottom. And there are also CSOs. It's not only LGU or the national government. There are CSOs that are conflicting because they have supporters or members that are into that business. And they cannot. They want renewable, they want clean, except for that. So, and we know who we are. Like, I'm admitting that we have a problem in government. It's more of I think the next generation will do a better job because of AI.
You mean the?
I'm sorry, I'm giving up on us.
You mean the?
Even our voting record is very bad.
You mean the post love bus generation?
Yeah, those who reach the love bus generation, I think we have to do a better job in this love bus 2 generation. I think would do better. Kasi nandun yung research nila sa AI sa internet, mas magaling tong mga to. So we just have to equip. My plan is just to equip them with, kasi the plan of the Philippine Energy Plan is 2023 to 2050. In 2050, I'll be 75. So I really have to push that with them. And I hope they make smarter choices than I did, that we did. Because our choices were really like, what did we do with all these resources? With the example I gave was OFW sending money here, but our energy behavior is sending it out. And then we question why we're trying to stop the coal plants. And then there's some businessmen my age that are pushing for it. Anyway, maybe you can do a better job.
I
One of my students.
in which I'll just be very quick, but just to say that this company was operational since 2013, when the only people who believed in it were the people who worked inside of it and the people who had invested in it. The reason why we're able to enact change, which I think historically will be seen as quite rapid, because the goal is proof of concept by end of 2025, much larger rollout in 2026, and it will seem rapid, but that's only if you exclude a lot of the external factors, such as the growing awareness of global warming, and also this clamor for governmental and personal change that has come in the past few years, and which is really demanding change within this country. So these are external factors that we couldn't control, which I don't know if people could control, and it's the will of the people and the will of the Philippine populace is an intangible thing that has been affected from 2013 up till now. And I think if we didn't have that behind us, and if we didn't have these external factors demanding a change in the way that we do transport and in the way that we connect people, I don't think the expansion of the Love Bus program would have ever been possible.
Yeah, I think it reminds me of the old saying that the so-called overnight successes take a really long time, actually. And I think, they're the product of visionary leadership and bold moves to take a gamble on these things. And of course, in your case, Kyle, I mean, we're familiar with Get and with talking to Freddie many years ago about his vision. And if I recall correctly, I think the first time I talked about electric vehicles with him had to do with electric tricycles, I remember. And but how far it's come along, all the way to the Comet series and now the Love Bus. So I think it's really evolved and the numbers really show the success. In the case of Mober, it's always fascinating to look at the origins of Mober because it started as an app without trucks. And then now it's the trucks with the app. And it's the largest fleet of commercial delivery trucks. And it's gone from the one-size trucks now to the larger trailer heads, and then to the tuk-tuks. No, so heavy trucks and then small size. And I think it's really owe it to the visionary leadership of Dennis, to really push that and the boldness. In the case of Ayala, we now know it as ACMobility, but if memory serves me right, because I'm also from Ayala, and we used to call that, I think, Ayala Automotive. Yeah. AC Motors. No? So anyway, thank you very much, everybody. Let me thank Wimpy in advance. I know you've got to leave and rush and got a lecture to go to. So thank you. Thank you very much. Yeah. But I think this really is the product of leadership and boldness and courage to be able to move into such new territory. And now we're so happy to hear this much development going on in your sector. So with that, let me please join me in thanking our panelists today, Carla, Kyle, and Bong, for the great presentations. We'd like to invite you all. Well, they're going to post up the QR code for the feedback survey, but in the meantime, fill out the survey form. And in the meantime, we'd like to invite you for some snacks outside and maybe a chance to continue this conversation. Thank you very much.
Lumalabas naman natin.
Hello. Hello.
Meron.
To our participants joining us here on site, we invite you to join us for snacks at the pantry area just outside the learning hall. Ushers will be stationed to assist and guide speakers and our participants. Lastly, kindly complete the feedback form on your screen or scan the QR code. Your inputs help us improve future sessions, and you'll also receive a certificate of participation afterwards. Once again, we would like to thank our
Wasteland.
Yung nagutan niya sa akin?
Yan, itry mo. Ito. Huwag mo na yung
Waste crisis lab.
Yan, itry mo yan.
Base pa rin to.
Ano, wait, check ko to. Shucks, pinicture ko. Oh, wait, baka... Ayan, waste crisis lab din.
Ay, magkano?
Mute daw, reading daw.